Well, hello, I'm back, and I want to talk to you about round 1 because I've decided it's going to have 8 works, and I already know how I'm going to start round 2. So quickly, let me mention the parameters that I started with. So I did a video about that already, but the parameters were, let's see, I listed them for myself. They were to have all the works be the same small size, on the same type of paper, so I'm using this beautiful thick paper. I was going to start all of them with the same kind of layer, which I create through Gelli printing or a Gelli plate and printing with acrylics to create some color and textures. So that's layer 1 for all of them. And then after that, using the same color palette, I think I've got about 10 colors I'm working with. Acrylics, gouache sticks, and Inktense pencils. Using those 3 types of materials within that color palette to create this art. So those are some pretty strict parameters. I mean, they'd be more strict if I was only using black, for example. But I actually decided to not use black anywhere. It might show up in that first background layer, but it's pretty subtle if it does show up. So I'm purposely not using black paint, black ink, black pencils, black gouache, 0. It's just the color palette that I selected. And so within those strict parameters, I ended up with 3 groupings just the first time around. And to me this is logical, but from the outside it might look like, hey, you did 3 different things, but it's actually the container. Those parameters created a container, and that container is what lets me obsess or be loose or whatever I want to do, because that's where I'm playing. Because I don't have to think about the colors or what I'm using or the size or the medium or the paper. I don't have to think about any of those things. I already decided those things. So now I get to play. And when you start playing and you let yourself go with your obsessions, at least in my case, you end up with things that look a little different. And where you leave off on one thing, you might begin on another thing. And so you might be able to see a progression if you were to really study these works. It would not be too hard to see, oh look, I was doing more circular stuff here and now it shows up over here. You could see that, but it's not going to be a clean linear thing, I promise you. Because I'm working on all of these at the same time and then sort of obsessing on one, putting it aside, obsessing on another. So here's what happened. I ended up with 3 that have a lot of circular shapes in them. I'm calling these roly-polies. So I ended up with these 3. And you'll see pics, I provided pics for you of all of these, so you'll see what I'm talking about a little better. And then what else? Then I ended up with these 5 that morphed into more map-like compositions. But some of the roly-poly stuff, which I think it actually started on these and then I ended up obsessing on the others. So I did start with sort of the similar shapes and symbols. It's just, where did I take it? Where did it go from there? And then I still have 5 that I started, which are like my loosey-goosey ones, which I'm wanting to be much more spontaneous and loose. And I just put the gouache down and some color smudges and a little bit of line in some cases. And I've done very little else. And on these you can still really appreciate the background that I did with the Gelli plate, whereas on the others it got completely covered up. So I didn't mean to do that, it just happened. So I'm very conscientious of the fact that I do love this texture I was able to create with the Gelli plate, and I would love to be able to keep some of that and not have it disappear in the process. So all this to say that the container is what gave me the freedom to play and explore and go off in different directions, and then to come back and combine. So there might be one where I combined the spontaneity, the circular shapes, and the other, you know, it's a back and forth, a back and forth, and back and forth. And it's so much fun to see how the tighter you make your container, actually the more freedom you have. So I could go tighter, and I mentioned that in a previous video that I used some stamps to create ghost-like shapes when I was doing the backgrounds with the Gelli plate printing process, and I may just remove that. So I may actually remove a few things to make my container even tighter, because it might allow me to do something that I'm not doing right now, and I'm really excited about that. Alright, so here you are. This is round 1. This is 8 works that are 99% done.